on.
The stairs are through the double doors. Please let me go.
You did say let me go. I just did as he asked.
The Punisher is one of my favorite characters of all time between anime, DC, and the Marvel Universe. And in the beginning, I was that typical child who loved Iron Man and the Hulk. Had one of those giant green foam Hulk hands. If anyone was alive back then that watches my videos. But that shit changed quick. After I watched the first Iron Man movie, my mom got the 2004 Punisher movie. And right then, I was a Punisher fan. But I was just a low-key Punisher fan until I got my hands on the Xbox version of the 2005 Punisher game, the game that's supposed to be right after the 2004 movie. I got the Punisher game from my grandparents. How or why they had it, I don't know. I played it, and within 2 days, I completed the game, and I loved it. This was all before I had access to a computer, so I had to go to a public library for, a computer to consume any media regarding the Punisher, including Punisher Warzone, which is the 2008 movie, and I don't regret my choice. Frank Castle has become one of my favorite characters of all time. Especially as an edgy teen, he appealed in the comics for his methods. Again, edgy teen. After this seemingly millennia of lack of Punisher content, once Daredevil Season 2 introduced the Punisher, which is one of the best introductions to the Punisher out of all the media I consumed. That's not including the source material, obviously. And after Daredevil Season 2, he got his own show on Netflix, and I was excited. It hit the marks. Well, Season 2. The intro to Season 2.
I got a family of my own. I don't.
It hit the marks of the beginnings of the monumental character that I really enjoyed. His ideology isn't one people should follow, yeah, but in certain media, specifically scenes like this here, it's gotta feel good in some ways, right?
I got it all, man.
Anti-heroes are
bondage,
beautiful.
backdoor, grannies.
I think.
Or maybe you're in the market for something younger. She's barely 12. Guaranteed. You like that, huh? What the hell are you doing? I'm just trying to make a buck.
Anyway, today I wanted to revisit the old classic from 2005 that I mentioned before, the 2005 Punisher game, which was released right after Thomas Jane's Punisher.
Picasso.
And side note, Thomas Jane has the most fitting voice for the Punisher, in my opinion, and in some ways his look as well. John Bernthal's is a close second, and Ray Stevenson's is last, but Ray Stevenson's version of the Punisher fits and even looks closer to Frank Castle. And he also has that tactical military combatant vibe that he just nails down in the movie. Yeah, and we don't talk about the first Punisher. That doesn't exist here. And I'm not ranking these, but they're based off of my favorite versions of the Punisher, but I love them all. I really do. I love that Ray Stevenson's feels more almost accurate to Castle, and may he rest in peace. The 2005 Punisher game had a mixture of originality and source material references. It played like Saints Row and Max Payne. Saints Row wouldn't exist without the Punisher, because this was created right before Saints Row, and it has the same exact mechanics. Volition went all out for this game with the vibe, the story, the gameplay. Despite it being repetitive after a time, I'm not going to go super into detail, by the way, on the ins and outs of this game. There are other videos that do much better than I can, and well, they exist already, so I'm not gonna do it. But Volition made the best possible version of this character in any form of media that I've ever consumed, not including the source material of the comics, clearly. Now, I'm in memory lane here, and I love it even more because I get to see the game in its full glory with the PC version with a couple of mods to get it to its truest potential, the way it was supposed to be played. This includes the gore that for some reason back then was a very sensitive topic for, well, it's gore. It was almost removed from stores with an adult-only ESRB rating. Nowadays, though, games are just as or even more horrific, specifically games like Mortal Kombat and maybe a few others. So imagine this being remastered with today's standards. I think it would be amazing. Seriously though, I can understand why it was questionable in the beginning, as games were not as gruesome in the early 2000s. Manhunt was one of them, if anyone knows that. It's mainly just the torture by interrogation, and there are unique ones as well, and even special kills that put this game in jeopardy at the time, which makes a lot of sense. But again, nowadays standards are absolutely crazy. Now, I don't know what it is about a guy in a trench coat that has the most heinous intentions to the absolute evil of the world, with the sight of characters that totally could just do some rehab, but still, it's amazing. But that clearly isn't just it. It's near the source material, the game. It has heroes that show up that are connected to the Punisher, and some of that are even just cameos, and it's the classic villains, the Russian, Kingpin, Bullseye, and Jigsaw. I am a little upset about Jigsaw in the game because it's John Saint, which is from the movies, the brother. What can you do? It's not Billy Russo. Also, other side note, Netflix's Jigsaw, kind of weak because, well, he's supposed to be fucked up, but he's not fucked up. Now, the feeling of being a one-man army is evident in this classic 2005 title, which, by the way, if you want to know how to play it on PC, I'll put a link in the description to a Retro News video in the description. Did I say description twice? I don't know. Thanks for making the video if you ever watch this, because I'm sure you'll get a ping that I tagged your channel in the description if you take a peek here. But thank you for creating that, because it made me happy going through memory lane. Now, this is a little too obvious, but playing the Punisher made me realize that games nowadays are pushed out way too soon. And I kind of already knew this again, but the Punisher from 2005 has a lot of content, and it's just a linear game with collectibles, upgrades, and a decent sized arsenal. And it even has challenges for people who just want to replay the game. There's just a lot of content in the game, and the story is just a great Punisher story. Well, it's a Punisher game. It's got to be Punisher related, right? It's also great that the Punisher has puns, by the way. I kind of like it. They really add some subtle comedic relief. The way Thomas Jane says it is just so monotone.
Shit!
No more torture. Never got his name. I'll just call him Chuck.
Thanks for the help, Chuck.
It's like a dad joke, which is kind of sad in hindsight. Now, the games nowadays that aren't under a AAA studio are thrown out super early, and it's honestly unfortunate, because then you have to wait for a game to implement a story mode or add to the story with DLCs that it's uncompleted, and it's sad, which I'm not opposed to. It's just more true and evident fact these days. It just keeps growing, this number of unfinished games, and games that have a lot more potential. I feel like publishers just force out games too soon and don't think of the outcome for a game that is unfinished, that needs a little bit of TLC. And I'm sure developers would love to do more TLC to their games, and more lore to their games, more of a story, more connection, but it's just not happening unless you're a AAA studio. Wild. This is a long shot, but I wish and hope someone creates a game based around Frank Castle in the way Volition did, whether someone buys the IP or makes a fan game of sorts, with the essence of Thomas Jane and his Punisher's connection to the relentless and goofy nature of Frank Castle, voice included, by the way, the looks, tactical aspect, horrific villainy, and grotesque nature of Stevenson's Punisher, and the brutality, mean, and humane side of John Bernthal's Punisher, which is strange because all of them have a humane side, but John Bernthal's is just more, connect to it more because of the longer periods of time you can watch it on. Now, if you tie that all with the near same plot of 2005's Punisher, and it would be a great VR game, VR and flat, mind you, I think it would be great for both sides, because we all know VR needs good games. But shit, they're making a Deadpool VR game. Why not a Frank Castle game? The Punisher, the freaking Punisher, the most brutal, probably the most interactive game you could probably think of. And committing the most heinous acts, feeling queasy and feeling bad afterwards, I want to feel that experience, because I feel that with Blood Trail, which is one of the closest games to what the Punisher would be in VR. That and Hard Bullet. But Blood Trail, you're a crackhead, so you aren't Frank Castle, you're just a crackhead. Hard Bullet is also just a sandbox-based game, VR game around those Hong Kong movies, but it's got some really good physics and something that could really match it. Hell, some of the things that you can do in there remind me of the game. Really though, we just need a gritty, edgy character with a story to make it work, and something that will last. But I really want a Punisher. Wanted to show you my ventures and thoughts on the 2005 game and movies of the Punisher and my favorite anti-hero and the potentials of the future Punisher game titles if it ever happens. I doubt it. I played this on stream and I loved it while reminiscing with chat. If you enjoyed the content, by the way, leave a like. If you hate it, dislike it, and let me know in the comments if you think a Punisher VR game would be awesome to see, because I think it would be amazing. Maybe gunman contracts will scratch that itch for a little bit. That's more John Wick, not Punisher. And as always, in honor of Bong Rips, raise hail, praise Dale, old sons. Until next time, take it easy. Take care. Bye-bye.